It was the shift of awakening when I understood, wow, it's about mothers and it's about children and it's about the most vulnerable people in society. Those people that really should be protected the most are the ones that are really suffering. And that's why I'm so grateful to you, Kevin, because you know, with your work and all the researchers, this is the outcome. This will be something that we can all work with, we can all look to. As like this, I said earlier, it's the car. This is the vehicle. The road is ahead of us, and that's what this is something really new. This is really cutting edge. We have to get the message through. We need to get together. We need to have more coalition, more thinking out of the box, ways that we can break down stigma. And I think I've said enough now, and I hope that I made some cohesive sense. And if anybody has any ideas for pushing me in a better direction with my campaign, please come and talk to me afterwards.
Thank you. My name is Angelina Nabiba. I love Positive Women. As far as the Stigma Index is concerned, I think this is an absolutely fantastic report, because one of the things that can actually help to eradicate stigma is when people like ourselves stand up and actually speak up for ourselves. But we can't do that without the backing and the support of initiatives like that who support us. If we're going to speak to the media, I need to know I've got family behind me, I've got a daughter. I need to know that if I'm going to speak out publicly, then I'm going to be able to have support in facing the backlash that might actually happen. And please keep on supporting us. Thank you.
People are afraid to come out and actually test because of the stigma attached to HIV, and people would rather die without a diagnosis than be diagnosed and die having been told they're HIV positive.
Yes. My name's Alice Wellborn, and I've been HIV positive for 20 years. I'm a part of POSFEN UK, which is represented by several women here in the room, and also part of the Sophia Forum. I just wanted to add a couple of points. We have the next International AIDS Conference taking place in Vienna next July, and the spotlight of the world is going to turn on us in Europe, because the stigma, as you've been hearing, across Europe, despite the fact that we have the antiretroviral drugs, is so phenomenal, and our international colleagues around the world are absolutely horrified when they learn about the stigma faced by us in Europe still living with HIV. They cannot believe it. So we really have an opportunity in the run-up to Vienna actually to change the way in which the public is looking at and thinking about HIV and those of us with HIV.
What have we learned in 28 years is what these results show us. That stigma today is still alive and well, and living, perhaps thriving, in the UK. And I'm hoping what the index will do in the long term is that we get to that nuanced understanding. And those answers don't lie with any of us one, they lie with us all. So I want to just say, come on in. Wait, now the audience participation. It's called Give Stigma the Index Finger. So everybody put up your hand and give it the index finger. All of you.
Everybody with a friend on. Come on. Come on, Lucy. Say cheers. Cheers. Cheese. Cheese. Index.
It's been kind of amazing seeing how much these people have kind of just got. I'm excited. Really excited.
I think the connection was with the families. So I used to do Gracie Fields because my granddad and the ballet school still in exactly the same place.
Yeah.
Which do you call it?
And then give Stigma the index
Yeah.
I just really want to say, because it's, you know, going back to my personal journey, that I was like one of the very few open, positive women years ago at the end of the 80s, the early 90s, and I did loads of media work. And because I was a drug user then before then, and I sort of, for 11 years I worked in HIV, and so there were very few women that spoke openly about it in the media, and I did. And I got into my textiles because I thought I had a future, and then I got ill. And the thing about getting cancer, it was far easier for my boyfriend as well, who'd never met a positive person until he met me, been with him 10 years, and myself to talk about the cancer compared to HIV was quite startling. You know, I've been HIV for years now. What I'm trying to say is I then made this definite choice, and it was so refreshing because I felt I was so boxed in with, you know, being labelled or just, you know, because of all the work, being HIV positive drug addict who did all this media work. And it was so refreshing to get into the textile world, to not tell anyone, to have that choice, to then make the choice, a reversal choice really, of being totally anonymous about it. And maybe that's to do with time, or is it, but then, you know, so I've been thinking a lot lately, or is it because I've sort of not slipped back into any kind of fear, but I mean, that rejection that I had, which was, and I did have books through my window, you know, it was just dreadful. And, you know, and has that sort of, maybe not want to talk about it again, but I think that fear, that tiny little bit of fear, I find it quite hard now to sort of tell people.
Yeah,
whereas years ago, I'd tell everybody, I'd tell the whole world, and I'd do media, and it's really strange.
Is no different to cancer or any other chronic illness, and there shouldn't be a stigma. But
well, it's to do with sex. That's what it's all about.
No, it's not. It's not just to do with.
Of course it is. That's why it's stigmatised. Right?
It's not just to do with sex.
What else is it?
The roots are different from where you're coming from, because as here, many people who are positive are gay men and African, while in Africa it's more heterosexuals, married, single, everybody. So, like, you find in a family, you all have actually HIV. And I've found it even here with our community. Not even, because there was a service last week, Positive Catholics have a service for HIV, World AIDS Day. And I called a colleague, a Caucasian man, straight man, who has been positive for 15 years. I said, would you want to come and attend the service? He said, no, I've never talked about my status. And it brought me back to this stigma, what we are doing. The guy is stigmatizing himself. I said, we are going to church to pray. Nobody's going to ask you whether you're positive or you don't have even to put on a ribbon. He said, no, I've never talked about my status, so I can't attend that service. So you can see the problems we have.
I admire so much the gay community. If you follow the way the gay community has actually come out and be positive about who people are and portray what is there. People now, they used to look down upon people of different sexual orientations, but now people respect. It's because people have come out and say, I'm so and so, this is what I'm doing, and I can do this. I'm a singer, I'm whatever. So tough luck to who doesn't take it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm clear that for some people there are enormous problems around disclosing their status because it will have impact on their family or their friends and whatever. But the bottom line for me constantly is, if we hide in the way that you describe, then we are made to be invisible.
Yeah. Exactly. Until we actually go there, I mean, the other day disclosed to my brother, and I've spent the last 18 months contemplating how I was going to do that. But I felt I couldn't come to this without having that conversation with him, which I had on the phone. And it's been really interesting, the process, because I've been sitting kind of, watching and feeling through this today. But for me, my self-stigma stuff, and I've done a lot of these interviews and I've been involved in a lot of them, but for me, my fears were not so much telling him, because I know that he loves me and we're very, very close, but it was, my fear was, how would that information land? And actually having gone through the process of telling me, I knew. He went, you've been doing this project for the last 6 months. He went, which part of it do you think I didn't get?
Normally I play with my band, but it's a rock band, big band. And today I am not here for the music. I am here because I am HIV positive for 25 years. I like in the song, everybody, all the friends, they aren't here anymore. I have ribbons in my hair. Red ribbons in my hair. Red ribbons in my hair. Come on! Red ribbons in my hair. Red ribbons in my hair. Come on! Red ribbons in my hair. Put the spirit in my hair. Everybody! Red ribbons in my hair. 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 Everybody! Red ribbons in my hair. Red ribbons in my hair. For the discrimination! Red ribbons in my hair. Red ribbons in my hair.
The purpose of this event is the Northwest launch of the Give Stigma the Index finger. The research was launched yesterday in the House of Parliament, and we're delighted that so soon afterwards we're having the Northwest launch here.
It's been an incredible experience, and we're here really just to kind of share some of the findings with you. We were at the House of Commons yesterday for an event, so we're basically taking this on the road. Tomorrow I'm in Edinburgh with some of the researchers. Same production, different cast.
One thing for us that has been so central to this whole project is this whole idea that it's user-led, and this initiative from the very beginning, from its first conception as an idea back in 2004, has always been led by people living with HIV, and the very sort of essence of the initiative is that spirit of being led by and for people living with HIV.
I got involved because I was very impressed that they really were, throughout the whole of the project, involving positive women, positive people in a meaningful way.
There are a lot of